I used to be most interested in Marvel superheroes and what was going on in the MCU, but I recently discovered that DC superheroes have some extremely compelling storylines, especially after the end of last year. If you are like me, though, you don't really know what's going on in DC, so let me overview some of the major storylines and plot points. The main thing to know is the Superman Batman dynamic. Superman, a couple of years ago, was gone. Nobody thought he was ever going to come back to repeat his glory days. The villains were all ecstatic, especially the Never Superman movement. Still, there were rumors that he could come back, resurrect from near complete annihilation, even with the extreme legal trouble he was in. Enter Batman, an eccentric billionaire, basically the richest, smartest man on Earth, who saw the potential for helping resurrect Superman. He poured so much money into supporting Superman. He made special appearances to rally support. He joined with other superheroes to make sure the mechanisms were in place. Did he bend some laws or do unethical things to accomplish this? Maybe, but it was all in an effort to get Superman back, which I think we can all agree is a worthy goal. Superman is invaluable. You could use any weapon against him, it wouldn't even matter. He'd just act like nothing happens. Anyway, the crazy thing is, they actually succeeded in their plan to bring Superman back. I think we all love a good underdog story, and this is one of the most satisfying ones ever. Okay, so I could tell you some of the other superheroes that Superman eventually will assemble into his special cabinet called the Justice League, but I think it would make more sense to show some pictures of the plot points I've already described. So here's the most famous superhero in DC, Donald Trump, aka Superman, at his lowest point, where people weren't sure he would make a comeback. Here he is, dressed up as his alter ego so people wouldn't recognize him. Here he is in his fight against the forces of evil, who were trying their hardest to stop his resurrection. Here's Superman using his superpowers to save average citizens. I'm confident that Superman will use his powers carefully, because a poorly used superpower would devastate whole city blocks. For example, if he had a superpowered fight in New York, maybe the blocks all around Wall Street would just be devastated. So I'm glad Superman's main characteristics are restraint and humility. Here's Batman, aka Elon Musk, campaigning for Superman's return. Here's him resorting to unusual and perhaps even unethical or illegal means to ensure Superman's return to power. Here's a press briefing in the Fortress of Solitude. You can kind of tell by the body language and positioning that it's hard to tell if Batman or Superman is really in charge. Sure, Superman has all the power, sitting on the resolute throne in the Fortress of Solitude, but Batman is super clever and has unbelievable resources. Superman has to be very careful not to alienate him, or it would definitely end poorly. I'm sure Batman has a secret contingency plan with a stash of Superman's kryptonite somewhere. Luckily for DC generally, though, they're definitely on the same team and are likely to stay allied forever. Here are some other notable superheroes in DC you should know about. Robin, aka Vivek Ramaswamy. He really wishes he were Batman, and for a time he works closely with him, but pretty quickly goes off to do his own thing. He's not quite as resourceful, powerful, or clever as Batman, but they end on surprisingly good terms for how hard it can be to get along with Batman. Cyborg, aka Mark Zuckerberg, is a little difficult to look at because you're not entirely sure how human he is. A little uncanny valley thing going on, but you have to admit he's got some extremely impressive powers. He has a pretty futuristic view of what humanity can and should be like. He's very calculating and shrewd and has undeniable influence in the Justice League, even though you might not see it at first. Supergirl, aka Laura Loomer. She may not be the most well known or popular of the DC superheroes, but she definitely has a following. She gains much of her power by her similarity/proximity to Superman. There are some people who are bothered by her sexualized portrayal, unfairly dismissing her as just a more attractive, less powerful Superman, but that's definitely not true. Aquaman, aka J.D. Vance, is pretty much generally agreed that he's the most likable and charismatic member of the Justice League, but his tough guy persona means he's one of the most intimidating as well. Even though they have a good working relationship, I get the feeling that if Superman tried to boss him around, he would resist on principle, because he's an independent, sassy, loose cannon. Some people say he looks slimy to them, but I don't see it. Wonder Woman, aka Marjorie Taylor Greene. She sometimes lives on an island where there are no men and all the women are superpowered. One of her most impressive abilities is her unique and powerful, whip-like even, access to the truth. She also has a jet that no one can see. Her jet is a little overpowered, as formidable as some kind of space laser or weather-controlled device. The Flash, aka Ron DeSantis. One look at this guy will tell you all you need to know about him. He's just a lightning-quick dude. If he were ever to go up against Superman, the Flash's unbelievably fast reflexes and decision-making would make him a formidable opponent. Like Aquaman, his quirky, down-to-earth, and authentic persona makes him beloved worldwide. Okay, that's about it. Now you're well positioned to sit back and watch the Justice League and all their superhero allies work through DC to save the United States from all sorts of supervillains and worldwide calamities that are just waiting to destroy civilization as we know it. The development in DC certainly inspires me. I'm equal parts happy that these superheroes have the powers that they do, and trustful that they will save us from evil. I hope you feel the same way too now. I mean, some people claim we're living in some kind of bizarro universe, but that definitely doesn't seem like what's going on to me.